Um, well, Gail, thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Um, I'm really, really excited about Starship. I've taken 3 trips down to Boca Chica or, Starbase, Texas. Saw Starship 9 and also 11. I saw 9 on the launch pad, and then I saw 11 coming out of the high bay and start rolling down the street with my son. My son is going to join us to say hi because he got to see them too.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
super excited.
Yeah, no, how did you get the little miniature starship?
This was sent to me by somebody who's a fan of Starship and of Elon, and who does 3D printing. And it's got a little charger in it, a USB-C connector. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm part of the Tesla community, and we're a really fun community. So someone just sent this to me for fun. Pretty
Wow,
cool.
a whole nother reason to get a Tesla, or at least to say that you have one.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who just, they're excited about SpaceX and they're excited about Tesla at the same time because it's so linked together. So and I'm kind of mostly talking about the community on Twitter, which is where you found me, because I was responding to one of Elon's tweets. I can't remember exactly what picture I put with it, but basically that he inspires us to look to the stars. Oh, I think it was, he could own 20 homes, but he chose not to. He put a tweet out a while ago that said, I will own no possessions. Essentially, I'm sure he owns a Tesla, but not like your usual billionaire.
You're talking about the one in orbit.
Yes, the one in orbit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it's kind of interesting, the reaction you see from people who see people with great wealth doing things that are so public like this. And I just wondering, I mean, there's a lot of people with great wealth who you don't see publicly that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like if you don't do anything, you keep your head down, you're okay. But if you're out there building rockets, that's not good.
It's good. I mean, he pushes people to dream and to feel inspired. I definitely am one of those people who just is super, super, super big fan of Tesla and of SpaceX. And it's an amazing time to be alive, to be able to see this happen, transitioning from gasoline driven cars that are kind of steampunk chugging along. I'm driving down the road on using full autopilot, going past, I feel like I'm in the future already, driving in a Tesla. It is just, it's really, really, really nice, I think, to be alive during this, like I said, this transition time. The other day I was on Reddit, I saw a man who posted that his granddaddy just bought a performance Model Y at the age of 91 for his birthday. And I mean, that's incredible. That man was alive when the Model T was, putting along. And now he's in a car that drives itself, Yeah,
it is amazing. I think some people remark that Tesla is pretty much the only car that you can buy today that actually increases in functionality after you buy it.
Yeah, I mean, that is very true. It takes country roads here in Austin, Texas better now than it did when I first got it. I have some roads I drive down that literally have low water crossings, which they're closed during heavy rains. And the Tesla just, and there's no bridge, there's no like border. The road just drops off into a creek because it's a low
Oh,
water crossing. It literally is cement that just drops down. So normally you'd be kind of scared to do that, on autopilot, but it's done it, 50 times accurately. So it's it relaxes you. You can look around at the horses and
I
it's
have a
crazy.
I have a friend with a Tesla, and we went to Austin to go to the New Worlds conference, and he let me drive it part of the way on the way back. And there's a part on 290 where they were doing road construction, and like the stripes were all crazy and everything, and it's like, please take over now. So you got to be ready to do
Oh
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah. This is when I went down to Boca Chica. That's just straight freeway. It's super, super easy to be 99% sure that the car is going to be just fine. But around construction, it's something that's not. Those are the edge cases that still need to be ironed out, it's in the process of being fixed. But right now, the car is pretty much, I think it's 99% perfect in just standard straight freeway driving, and interchanges included. Like when you're going through a big city, sometimes on human pilot, you get a little overwhelmed or confused. If it's your first time in that city, it's normal to get a little overwhelmed and wonder, which one of these spaghetti entrances, where do I go? What do I do? But you can pretty much relax in the Tesla because it's got it all planned out. In fact, it kind of a mile ahead of where it needs to turn, it gets over. So,
Yeah, that's great. I've been trying to teach the drivers in my house the importance of doing that too. It sounds like it sounds like I should just give up and get them a new car.
My teenagers pretty much, are convinced that their first vehicle is going to be a Tesla. So, and it's a whole new thing to teach for driving, because right now in the transitional period, you kind of have to be an extremely good driver to drive a Tesla, because you have to be able to just take right over. And that means that you have to be taking over in the most difficult times. So you've got to first be trained without using any autopilot. And then you have to be trained. That doesn't take long for kids today who play video games, but you do have to be trained to just really understand the nuances of how the software is, and then it gets better. But right now it's kind of funky, like it'll decide to follow a trash truck,
Oh, really?
not what I would do, or a truck that has a bunch of wood on it that could fall off on top of you,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a not a very good driver sometimes, but then other times it's just like stunning how good it can be.
I wonder if they need to add that to their training program for the autopilot. Trucks that have things that fall off of it. And kind of train and say, we need to evaluate the risk, like a truck that has a trailer,
Yeah.
as an example, or the car with the mattress tied on top.
Yeah. I know. And we just, like, as humans, I think most of us don't follow too close behind, or at least I think a lot of us just don't want to follow them. Trash trucks are stinky, and then leaves and stones falling off, I'm sure they'll get to that soon. I'm sure eventually Tesla will work that into their neural net.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I actually wonder if they've even really thought about it. Like, yeah. Whenever I'm thinking about how would I go about building a self-driving car, I'm thinking about the road and avoiding cars. But just this whole idea that there are different types of cars and things you might want to avoid. I mean, you might even look at the perceived personality of the drivers of those cars as well. How well they stay in their lane, and like, I think I'll get a little bit away from that.
Yeah, so that's what I can monitor when the car is on autopilot. I can look right over and see someone that's, I mean, they're on human pilot, but they're on their phone. That's scary. I
Hmm.
mean, you won't be as scared if you see me on my phone because you know the car's driving, but can you imagine someone like literally like this, It happens every day. So I'm
Yeah.
amazed that they can handle it because I could never handle it. It's too scary. You got lives in the balance.
So, do you remember when you first became aware of SpaceX?
Um, Late in the game. I mean, probably um probably when the first rocket successfully had the first Falcon 9 had the successful landing. And then we started watching the launches. So I can't remember exactly. I mean, that's when I think the general public started to get hear about it. But I was not at the time. I was not at all involved with Tesla or SpaceX at all, or no real active interest in space. It mainly came about because of Tesla. So I was late in the game.
So you learned about the car before about SpaceX.
Yeah, I started getting interested in SpaceX after Tesla, and then got the Tesla, and then got interested in the man who built the car. Found out that he really did all this stuff with the rockets, and just really learned quickly because I just, if you're interested in something, you learn pretty fast. You know.
Do you stay up and watch the launches?
Yeah. I mean, on Twitter, if Elon tweets, then I'm there and I'll look in the middle of the night for sure.
Did you sign up for Inspiration 4?
To go in
Uh-huh.
the Starship.
Well, not the Starship, but a Crew Dragon. So
Oh,
Jared
no.
Isaacman had bought a Crew Dragon flight later this year, and he's going, and a physician assistant from St. Jude's is going, and then somebody that donated money to St. Jude's that was randomly drawn,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
then somebody else. Yeah. So,
Hmm. I don't think I signed up. Um, I mean, my chances are pretty low of being picked.
yeah, I mean, I signed up. I didn't get picked, but my wife and I had some serious conversations about whether or not I could go if I did get picked. So that's kind of
Oh, yeah.
quite interesting. What do you mean I can't go?
Well, I mean, I think anybody could just do it,
Yeah,
unless you have severe heart problems, right? If you have heart problems, maybe it's not such a good idea, unless your doctor releases you. Let's find the right doctor.
exactly.
But I would like to see Elon go up and experience that burn coming back. I mean,
But it's so funny when that Japanese billionaire who's doing the Zero Moon project,
mhm.
they had that presentation like 2 years ago where they announced it. And he's like, you should come with us on the flight. And he's like, oh, you're a very brave person. Very, very brave. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I think we don't doubt it, but since Elon knows all the things that could go wrong, it's probably very stressful for him, when thinking, especially that first, the only landing so far, right? Um, it was very emotional afterwards, really, really emotional. Although I never doubted that it would be successful. It still does seem kind of rudimentary to me, though, having to have the parachutes and then land in the ocean, and how just the general public seemed like they were there before the military guards or something. That was weird.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke at first.
Well, I mean, I think with Starship, with like the vertical landing on the pad and then taking off, a few hours after landing, I mean, that
Mhm.
that should be transformational.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this is just the rocket, but then the booster, it'll be double the height. And it's just so, it's so, it almost looks like a computer generated image, doesn't it? It's just so classic rocket comic book look, you
Hmm.
know, isn't it?
But
Just,
we've seen it. It exists. And
yeah.
they've
Did you get
built,
my pictures?
I
I sent you
did.
some pictures.
I
They're,
actually went to South Padre Island last week for spring break. So
oh,
the whole family, and I also went to Boca Chica last week. So
wow. What'd you think of it?
I mean, it was fantastic. I'm just like blown away. I was like looking through the careers page, going, what could I qualify for?
So one of the guys that worked there, I was by his pickup truck outside the gate, and I was just admiring the the um the this was after 10 crashed. I mean, it
Mhm.
landed and then it went back up and then it came back down again. That was really a shock.
I know they
Uh,
cut the feed, and I had already gone and started showing people the replay. And then I started
uh,
getting things about, oh, too bad. The next one, I'm like, what are you talking about? It landed. And then I,
yeah, yeah,
Gail,
I know. It was crazy. But so, I mean, like this is from Starship 10 given to me by an employee. So I know it's fine. It's not illegal. Um, and the employee said that his job was to build the launch pad. And it is 4 millimeters thick. It's the same metal that the Cybertruck is going to be made out of. It's very heavy, very, very hard. And it's sharp too. I guess it just shred apart
hmm,
when it landed. And there was lots of pieces around, like this was given to me from Philip, one of the photographers that he's around the launch site. They call him a pad rat, a pad rat. The guys that hang around all the time down there. Oh, it's amazing. It's really beautiful.
um, I guess, what do you think is going to happen first? Dear Moon or Artemis 2?
Um, well, Artemis is like just the name for the project to start delivering payload to the moon, right?
Oh, well, the Artemis 1 mission would be an uncrewed flight of the SLS, of the SLS and the Orion capsule around the moon.
Mhm.
Artemis 2 will have 4 astronauts on it, one of which would be Canadian. They gave an arm in order to send an astronaut, since they're providing the robotic arm for the Gateway.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and then Artemis 3 is supposed to send 4 astronauts, 2 of which will go in the human lander that's selected, of which SpaceX is one of the 3 groups that's building, or bidding or proposing
Mhm.
on that. And that's supposed to happen in 2024, but I think everybody thinks it's going to be beyond that. That's why I
Mm,
started this project. But
mhm.
Dear Moon's supposed to be sending a group of like 12 people around the moon in 2023 as well. So it'd be kind of interesting to see if Elon's able to pull that off. I think that would be quite the the people would be in shock, I think, if he pulls that off.
Well, I mean, look at the rate that he's testing the rockets in Boca Chica. So 11 could be tested this weekend. And I think, um, I mean, he really believes that we just have a short window of time where we are, as a, human species, going to be able to pull this off at all. Um, and so I think it'll happen just because SpaceX is really accelerating their testing. And because when you drive down there, you see that it's a rocket factory. and you can see all the rings setting aside, ready for the next ones, that already, I guess 15 or 16 is maybe already started to be assembled to go after 11. And you can hear, and I know they have 24-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, day shift and night shift. And it's also, just as a side note, they offer their employees a hot meal every 3 to 4 hours just to get max work out of them. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'll take it. But so I think because it's a factory, because it's accelerated like that, then I think it's very possible. I think they can, soon do testing, we're just doing the 12-kilometer testings right now, right? But soon it'll go way beyond that. You'll have an unmanned starship circling the moon, and then a couple of those happen, and then, time for, I don't know, put a dog up there, put a Doge up there.
Put a whole kennel.
I mean, that's what makes it so fun, because Elon makes it fun like that with the memes and everything. So
I know.
it's not such a serious, serious thing, And when you visit Boca Chica, you can see it's not so serious. You can go right up to the gate. It's not like some kind of federal thing that's all blocked off, but it's a public beach with public beach access, right? So it's just fun.
But can you imagine he sends like 20 dogs, pups around the moon, and then, kind of gives or sells them astral pups, kind of.
Or paints the Doge image on there.
Oh, right.
It's just fun. It's really, really fun. It's a great time to be alive.
It is. Yeah, I keep thinking that like the 2020s are going to be the SpaceX. No, yeah, the 2020s are going to be the space exploration what the 1990s were to the internet and computing. That, I mean, can you imagine? You would probably have an easier time in 1990 explaining to somebody what orbital mechanics were and the rocket equation than you would email or web shopping or anything like that. And by 2030, I mean, what's possible in space, I think, is going to fundamentally shift. I mean, I think the Starship is like the Netscape browser of the space age type of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it could become antiquated, those international flights, and then you could have, I mean, it's very, very, very likely that you'll see those boats, and oil rigs, sending and receiving rockets. And I mean, that too is going to be tested as well. So I think it's just a matter of how much, SpaceX can do, how quickly, and everybody wants them to be a public company. They're not right now, but.
And then Starlink, I mean,
Starlink,
worldwide internet, high speed. I mean, you could put on top of your RV and go camping and.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's beta testing in Austin in about 6 months. They're supposed to deliver some to Austin. So I'm looking forward to that, to be able to use it. Super excited. It's just going to be great. Like I said, it's just if this was all normal, it might not be as exciting, but to be, to live where none of this happened, and now where it's happening is this got to be the biggest treat ever.
I know this is what everybody who grew up in the 60s was expecting the 70s to be.
I mean, maybe, but then Watergate happened, and it just kind of all, I don't know. It didn't happen. I mean, the Challenger crash and everything. So didn't.
Yeah. A lot of people I interview, that's one of their most vivid space memories, for people who were in elementary school or middle school during that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really appreciate getting to connect with you, and I mean, I can't wait to see SN11 fly. Maybe tomorrow. Is it
That'll be
still?
great.
And is it still possible? I haven't looked to see if the. I don't think there's a road closure, but there's a temporary flight restriction. But maybe Saturday or Sunday, like you said. I'm kind of tempted to drive back down there just to see it. But
Where do y'all live?
I'm in Houston, so it's about
Oh,
6
that's
hours
right.
away.
Cool. That's
So
so cool. Of course, Houston in the 70s would have those dreams. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I from Austin there, it's like a 7-hour drive. So it's really, really close. It's really tempting to go down.
or just live down there.
Yeah, Tim Dodd does now. So
Oh, does he?
yeah, he's got
I
a
didn't know
studio
that.
there. Hmm.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
cool. Well, I hope to see you sometime in Boca Chica.
that will be great. I'm always on Twitter.
Always on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, do you mind if I share your pictures and your video too?
Yeah,
The ones
that's
that you
why I
took?
sent it. I think
Oh,
that's
awesome.
historical. Probably
Absolutely.
a lot of your people that you interview don't have that,
It's true.
as part of it. It's just part of my whole excitement, is that. And the Tesla's in one of them, I think. So yeah, and Hopper. Yeah, that's great.
That's pretty amazing. Well, thank you so much. And I unfortunately I have to go, but I hope to cross paths again.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Bye.
Bye, Gail.